The hottest player on tour has returned to the facility where she frequently bowled in a league, continuing to thrill the hometown fans. She's in the top position looking for her third title of the season in the Fort Worth Classic next. Welcome inside Don Carter's City View for the finals of the PWBA Fort Worth Classic. Hello everyone, I'm Jan Schmidt and thanks for tuning in for week 7 of the PWBA Tour. If you were with us in week 2, then you'll probably experience, as we are, a little deja vu. Yes, it's the same 5 finalists you saw in St. Clair just a few weeks ago. Do you remember who they were? Let's meet them. Qualifying 5th, PWBA's most recent Triple Crown winner, Dede Davidson. In the number 4 position, going for her 2nd career title, Kendra Gaines. Qualifying 3rd, last week's champion, Cara Honeychurch. Qualifying a solid number 2, looking for her 2nd victory of this young season, Liz Johnson. And holding the number 1 position this week and in every major statistical category this year, Carolyn Dorin. Well, normally the number 6 qualifier wouldn't make the show, but this week an exception. She's at my side. 6-time champion Marianne DeRupo, welcome.
Well, thank you. It's a pleasure to be here. However, when I was ironing my clothes this evening, this is not the outfit I anticipated to iron, but I'm happy to be a part of this.
Well, it's a great outfit, but let's talk about the ladies that actually ironed the bowling clothes. 5 of them, same show as a few weeks ago. Isn't that a bit unusual?
It's extremely unusual. However, after talking to them last night, all 5 of them stated that the condition was very similar to Fairview Heights, Illinois. They got into a comfort zone, which helped them adjust a lot quicker than the rest of the competitors.
Well, 2 of the ladies tonight have adjusted to every lane condition this swing, dominating the tour. Top seed, Carolyn Dorin Ballard. It's her 6th show. She has 2 titles already in 7 events. And Cara Honeychurch in her 5th show with 1 title. Now, with all the talent out here, Marianne, how are they doing that?
Well, you're looking at 2 extremely strong bowlers. Their games are very simple. Fundamentally, they don't get into a lot of trouble, which aids them into repeating shots and being very accurate. However, what most things are overlooked is their mental toughness. I believe, Jan, that 90 to 95% is mental stability. Right now, Carolyn and Cara being number 1 and number 2, they are very strong mentally, especially at the end of the week. And you know what, Jan? They are unshakable.
Well, we'll see if anyone can shake them up tonight. We're ready for the first match. It'll be Honeychurch, Gaines, and Davidson. Handshakes around in the opening match. Cara Honeychurch will start. She was the number 3 qualifier, and Marianne, her choice to start the match.
Very interesting. She told me earlier today that she felt that they were hooking more as she was practicing earlier in the evening than they were all week.
Not a good opening shot for Cara.
No, she probably made a little bit of an over-adjustment because she was saying the middles were hooking a little too much.
First look this week at Kendra Gaines, 27 years old. It is her 4th year on tour, only has that 1 title. That was in 1998.
Right, she's an extremely strong competitor, and she's ready to win tonight.
Good opening shot as Cara steps up to cover the spare, the 1-3-6.
Interesting ball change. She went with the ball that goes straighter to convert that spare.
Dede Davidson, 34 years of age, 17 years on tour. My, she started young.
Yes, she did. Probably right out of high school.
Ooh, a light mixer.
Very good shot. She actually drilled the ball for this evening, and I noticed that she is using it.
She's using the ball she drilled?
Yes.
Honeychurch trails by 10 pins, the only player not to strike in the first frame. And this time, high, leaving the 2-4.
Yeah, she might have made an adjustment off of her first shot. She possibly moved a little bit left and got a little more hook.
Kendra Gaines qualified 4th.
Very good shot. Very aggressive.
Cara, meanwhile, having to shoot those spares. Normally a very good spare shooter. Qualified third with the 213 average.
Very good spare shooter. You don't see her missing very many spares out there, Jan.
But even Cara told us that she had a little trouble with those spares on the sport condition.
Very much so. All girls are having problems on it because if you're using a plastic ball, it has a tendency of sliding by it. If you use a reactive resin ball, it has a tendency of hooking by it. So it's very, very tough out here.
In the 5th position, Dede Davidson averaged 209 this week. Actually, a couple players averaged higher, but Dede won a lot of matches, 16, 7, and 1. And there is still plenty of bowling left on the PWBA Spring and Summer Tour. And next week, they head to Country Club Lanes in Danville, Virginia for the Southern Virginia Open. Then it's on to St. Clair Shores, Michigan, Sunday, July 8th through Thursday, the 12th, for the Sport Bowling Challenge. Collins Bowling Center, Eastland is next, Sunday, July 15th through Thursday, July 19th. So come on out to one of those stops. We're winding down, about 5 weeks left, so make sure you visit when we're in your area. Cara Honeychurch still with some difficulties, going high this time on lane 27, and Kendra Gaines now up on lane 28. Started the match with a strike spare.
Once again, Jan, a very aggressive shot. She seems really pumped up and anticipated on this shot.
Cara defeated Kendra during the week. This is a tough spare, Marianne.
This is actually the spare, both righties and lefties, that have the most problems with. And she did use a reactive resin ball on that, and she converted it very well.
Dede defeated Kendra throughout the week. Once again, 24 games of match play for these ladies. The final one being a position round.
Dede making a very aggressive shot. She kept her ball speed up. She's been working on some hand positions that have been aiding her in the sports condition.
So Dede, perfect through 3 frames, still has a chance at that $50,000 bonus offered by Travel Lodge for a $300 on television. Cara Honeychurch trailing by 36 pins.
She sent that ball a little left.
Boy, she doesn't seem to have much of a shot at all.
When I talked to her earlier while they were practicing, she did tell me that they were hooking more holistically than they were all week. She didn't feel very comfortable.
Uh-oh.
Right now, Cara's shooting a 3.569. What she needs to do is hit in between the 3.5. She is using her reactive resin, trying to hook at it. She hit a little bit of the oil playing outside, and it skated on her.
Well, she's going to have to regroup and try to figure out the lanes. Kendra Gaines striking on 28, but not so far on 27. Staying clean, though, and meanwhile, Dede Davidson is striking at will so far through 3 frames.
Yes, she is, Jan. Very interesting, too. She only used 2 to 3 balls all week. She did mention that she drilled a couple balls for tonight, and she has been using that all during practice and, as you see, for the first 4 shots of this evening.
Barely hitting the head pin, and she carries out the 3-9, so Dede Davidson is the early leader at Don Carter City View. We'll be right back with more. There's a look at the score while we were away. Dede Davidson had a little trouble in the 7th frame, but she still has the lead. Kendra Gaines with a double, and Cara Honeychurch changed balls, double and spare. Here was Dede in the 7th frame.
Jan, she did what she had to do on the spare. She slid the 3 right in front of the 7. She had a bad break, but she did what she had to do.
That's the way they tell you to shoot it. Didn't work out. Cara Honeychurch picked up a washout while we were gone also. She steps up now in the 8th frame, trailing by 42 pins. There's Cara's swing so far this year, pretty impressive.
Very much so. Nothing below the top 10. Here we see that Cara made a ball change. She went to a shinier ball to help get the ball down the lane very easy. Kendra's getting up. She's on a double. She made 2 very aggressive shots in the 6th and 7th frame.
Her best finish, obviously, the show we've been talking about, the St. Clair Classic, where she was 4th.
She's been pretty consistent all year. She made a very aggressive shot there. Just got a little hang down the lane. Cara picking up the 7 pin, just like she makes all her spares. You notice Kendra went into going to a plastic ball as well for her 2-pin conversion.
Now, do you use a plastic ball, Marianne, at all of your spares or single pin spares?
Actually, I use a reactive resin claw, which is a 3-piece cover stock, so it gets down the lane pretty long, and I put a lot of shine on it.
So Dede Davidson in the lead now by 44 pins, despite that open frame in the 7th. But I guess when you start with the front 5.
Very good shot. Very good shot. Dede's been sick all week, so she said being sick actually helped her this week.
Sometimes it can. It actually, you're a little more relaxed in it, and you focus only on your bowling. You're too sick to worry about anything else.
Very good shot. Just a bad break. Kendra getting up on lane 28. This has been the lane that's been a little bit difficult for her, but she made a great shot on it prior.
The best she could shoot at this point would be 212. 10-pin carry is tough.
Absolutely, especially with the angles that they're playing. Cara picking up her 7-pin. Once again using her plastic ball, and Kendra again picking up her plastic ball to shoot her 10-pin.
Now these players, they were tough all week as they've been recently. The players used a lot of equipment, Marianne. I mean, how many balls do most of these ladies use throughout the week?
Well, it ranged. Dede went anywhere between 2 to 3 balls. Kendra used anywhere between 10 to 12 balls. And Cara basically used everything in her bag, 15 balls plus.
Well, and that's unusual for Cara. Normally she uses a few less balls. She doesn't really like a lot of ball choice. Dede Davidson now in the 9th frame.
She coming around it a little bit at her release, which made the ball go right real quick. Going back to Cara, Cara's used to FIQ international experience. Over there, they flew a lot, so they were only entitled to bring about 6 balls on the plane. So she got used to only using about 6 balls.
Yeah, and she told us last night, hey, you know, there's just too many balls out here. People are using too many balls, and she doesn't agree with it. She would rather see choices made with hands, speed, lines than the ball changes, but she has to go with the flow. She's going with the flow and what the equipment's out there today. If you want to compete in this level, you got to stay with the level. Dede converting that 3-pin. Cara shooting at the spare, routine for her. Cara is very accurate. She makes spares look very simple on this. Well, as we've noticed the last several weeks, the first match pretty low scoring, except for Dede here, but the other players struggling a bit. We're hoping it will pick up as the lanes continue to transition. The interesting aspect to that is that when we were talking to Dede last night, she was really concerned about this first match because she hasn't bowled well in any of the mornings. So this is definitely an up boost for her. Kendra is going to convert the spare. Rats. She's obviously not happy, but Dede Davidson moves to the semifinal match. But first, when we return, the transition from youth bowling to adult bowling. Famed role in Bowl for the Cure as a breast cancer survivor. Bowl for the Cure month will again be in February of 2002. Thanks, Susie, for all you do. Final score of match 1, Dede Davidson 224 to Honeychurch's 180 and Gaines's 189. So it's Dede Davidson taking on the #2 qualifier, Liz Johnson, right after this. Of the Texas Rangers. And for this week, Don Carter City View is home of the PWBA. And the Fort Worth Classic, Liz Johnson now getting ready to start the semifinal match. She'll be bowling against Dede Davidson. Liz was in that #2 position, and she couldn't go anywhere last night. Couldn't go up, couldn't go down, solidly in that position.
Yeah, she stayed there for most of the week in the top 5. She was real strong all week. She got to play her A game, and when Liz Johnson can play her A game, she's very tough to beat.
Okay, Marianne, her A game, we're seeing it there, and that would be from the extreme outside angle.
Absolutely. Liz likes to play together, and when she can play together and use her ball speed to her advantage, she's very tough to beat.
Did you see the A game, her advantage? Foot movement, a weakness there for her.
Right. She discussed with us that tendency for her is her feet to get fast, which entail her arm swing gets fast, and she has to catch up to it.
Let's look at Dede's success factor in the first match on each lane.
Right. On lane 27, she struck 3 times. In lane 28, she struck 4 times. So I'd say lane 28 happens to be a little bit better lane for her.
And she'll be starting the match there, which means she'll finish on 27.
Correct. And if you notice, Dede made a ball change. She made that ball change in the fill ball in the first game. I went down to her and asked her if that's the same ball she used all week, and yes, it was, Jan, and it happens to be the same ball she used at Fairview Heights, Illinois.
Wow.
Yes.
Pretty interesting.
Absolutely. That's the one of her 2 to 3 bowling balls that she used this week and in Fairview Heights, Illinois.
And she changed balls. Why? They were changing for her throughout that first game? Is that...
Yeah, she felt like the ball was pushing a little bit more down the lane for her, and it didn't give her enough back end.
Getting a little bit of carry down as 2 left-handers playing on the left side.
Sure, and plus Cara came in with a little bit of surface and then went to shine, so I'm sure the oil did carry down.
We're all even right now, both players with a spare up. Dede Davidson in the second frame, and Dede wants to thank her sponsors. Dan and Wanda Do It. They have been sponsoring this lady for a long time, and she's very appreciative.
Very good shot. She's being really aggressive tonight.
And it is interesting, as you were saying at the close of the last match, that as Liz steps up, that, you know, Dede thought she didn't have a chance really tonight because she doesn't like the fresh condition and the fresh back ends. Liz Johnson usually excels on them.
She really bowls well in the morning for several reasons. She has a tendency of being able to play her A game, and the back ends seem to be a little bit fresher for her, so she can play that way outside line.
Yeah, gets good hit and good carry normally. Not carrying here though, leaving the 10 pin.
As you can see, Liz has got great projection down the 1, 2, 3 board. The back ends to her, when I went down there and asked her, they said that they were a little bit tighter than they were all week. So that could have contributed to the 10 pin being standing up there. Liz also making a ball change, going to a plastic ball to get the ball down the lane straighter.
That for the spare, obviously not her strike shot. Changing the balls for spare.
Correct.
Yeah. And there's a look at our field. It took a 203 average this week to make the cut. 204, excuse me, to make the cut. 203 to cash. And once again, we're bowling on the WIBC ABC Sport Bowling pattern. This pattern is in place to try to increase the integrity in bowling and make you have to execute shots.
And it is doing that, Jan. It's actually making you be more accurate. In league play, you have a little bit more area to hit, to get away with. You could swing the ball a little bit right, and you get recovery because of the friction. And you could get the ball in and hit the oil, and it still hit the pocket. Out here in the sport bowling condition, you really have to execute. Ball speed is very crucial, and accuracy is definitely the second element that's crucial.
Lester covers up the spare, and as you notice, it's her 3rd show this year, Liz's show, and she only made 3 all of last year. So Liz on pace for a good year. Dede Davidson on pace for a good game. Max score of 290. If she would strike off the sheet, she leads by 22 pins because Liz Johnson's max score is 268.
I think Dede would be very happy with that. I think she's very happy with how she performed in the first match.
Big strike for Dede, and she talked to us earlier about her belief in karma.
Well, before this week started, I missed a flight in the morning, got really ill and was unable to make my flight. Took a standby flight and was fortunate enough to get the last seat on the plane. If I was not able to hit that flight or that seat, I would have definitely stayed home for the week and not been here tonight. So I do believe things happen for a reason, and I also missed practice session because I got in about 3 in the morning. And again, when I've missed practice session only 5 times in my career, I've made the show every time. So I do believe in karma, and things happen for a reason for sure.
Well, it looks like it's happening for a very good reason right now. Dede Davidson, although an unfortunate break there, the 3-6-7-9.
This is a very difficult spare to pick up. It seems like she got a little bit firm with her ball speed and sent the ball a little bit further right than the shot prior. And plus, it could also contribute to a little bit of carry down as well, Jan, as we discussed earlier.
Now, she could possibly pick this up.
Absolutely. She has to get the ball going to the right of the 3-pin and slowly hooking it past it.
Ooh, that was close.
Almost. Kicked it out of the gutter. If you earlier, they posted her averages from 2000 to 2001 season. Her average seemed to be a little bit lower this year, but that contributes to sport bowling.
She has pretty much struggled with the pattern, that being Dede so far this year. Liz Johnson now in the lead by 14 pins as a result of Dede Davidson's split.
Very aggressive shot. Her arm right behind the ball. And the result, 10 in the pit.
Now, I know, Marianne, you talked to a lot of the players about what they focus on when they practice.
Right. What Liz has been working on in her off time is trying to get healthy. She's been in a regiment on working out, training, getting her injuries back to par. She practices a few times a week. She bowls a lot of leagues. So she feels like her regiment has been working for her.
Ooh.
Very good shot,
yeah.
Jan. She put the ball where she wanted to. Her ball speed looked right. She just got a little push down the lane and left a 10-pin. As you can see, she got that ball a little bit further right than she did on lane 28, which could have contributed to the 10-pin because there might be a little bit of push down the lane. As you can tell, accuracy and ball speed contribute to a lot of corner pins.
Well, it's a close one, but stay with us to see who survives this match and gets a run at the title. We're back at Don Carter City View in Fort Worth, Texas. It's the Fort Worth Classic. We're in the semifinal match. Liz Johnson trails right now by 17 pins. While we were away, she spared and struck. Dede Davidson, nothing but strikes. So Liz's max score 237, Dede Davidson's 254 if they both continue to strike.
You know, Jan, Liz has been in the pocket. She left a 10-pin in the 6th frame that could have fell as well. The last two shots in the 7th and 8th frame, she went a little higher flush, carried the 10-pin.
Get a look at the score there. And Marianne, you talked about how diligent Liz has been on her training regimen. She has a herniated disc in her back, just so everyone's aware of that. And I know firsthand how tough that is to bowl through. And she talked about possibly taking off next week.
Yes, she said that she's 99% sure that she is going to take next week off, even though she is bowling very well. But she feels that the week off will help her in the long run for the rest of the swing. She
actually felt her back 2 or 3 times while she was bowling, so she doesn't want to risk it.
Absolutely. And there you go. She went high flush, tripped the 4-pin, and look what she's got, a 3-bagger, and we have a match here.
We sure do. Dede Davidson, though, still in the lead, but she must continue to strike. Once again, our plus or minus figured off of max score. In other words, we're going to assume the player will strike. Career earnings for Dede, $652,000, almost $653,000. Big strike for Dede, and Marianne, I already mentioned you finished 6th again, 2nd week in a row. Anne-Marie Dugan and Carol Giannotti Block both making a strong run at the show.
Right, and in 12th, we have Alita Sill, and 15th, Wendy McPherson, the PWBA millionaires, soon to be Tish Johnson, hopefully next week.
Shanna Ray of Portland, Texas. This is her 6th straight cut. Way to go, Shanna Ray, finishing up in 16th. And Linda Barnes only been out 3 weeks, but she made the most of each one.
And in 21st, Tiffany Stambro, our 1999 Rookie of the Year, and rounding out the field from her home state, Texas, Rachel Perez.
Dede stepping up in the 10th frame. She can shoot 254. That was an important shot.
Very big shot. It didn't look like it cleared her hand as nice as the other shots prior. As you can see on the release, it looked like it hung up in her thumb a little bit, so she didn't get the roll like she did in the shots prior. Now, one thing that Dede mentioned that's been working for her, she's been looking about 44 feet down the lane. If you notice on that shot, her eyes were down the lane.
Well, she'll need to spare it up and strike, but Liz Johnson will be able to win this match. If Dede strikes here, Liz will need about a double and 7 to win this match.
And it can be done. Liz is on fire right now. But then again, on a sport condition, doubling is not guaranteed, Jan.
You sound like you speak from experience.
That's why I'm sitting next to you, unfortunately, but I'm having a really good time.
I'm so glad you're with me.
Very aggressive shot.
Oh,
there you go.
Okay, well, get all the pins you can, because you never know, even with that double, Liz will still need a decent count of 6 pins if she can double.
That's a great game, shooting 232 on this condition.
Sure is. Now remember, Liz Johnson, we've talked about, Fairview Heights, Illinois. She is the one who came out the victor in that event.
Yeah, she said that she felt comfortable all week. They played like Fairview Heights, Illinois. And once again, when she's in her A game, she's very tough to beat.
So 1 strike at a time. She'll need 2 of them.
She got that ball left. And unfortunately, on the sport condition, you don't have a whole lot of hold. As you can see from the prior shots, she got that ball left of her target. There is no hold in there, so unfortunately she went through the face, having an ugly split like that.
Not what she wanted to see happen. But Dede Davidson is the survivor. When we return, I step aside and a new Iron Woman emerges. So Fighter Night in match 1, Dede Davidson made him look easy, defeating Honeychurch in games 224 to 180 and 189. In match 2, Liz Johnson couldn't get the job done, so she fell to Dede Davidson 232 to 202. Coming up next, it's the final sudden death. Dede Davidson challenges Carolyn Dorin Ballard for the title. Off in the distance, downtown Dallas, in the forefront, Fort Worth, Texas, and that's where we are. Look at the beautiful trophy and the yellow rose of Texas. I wonder who will walk away with those. Dede Davidson will start the championship match. She'll take on the hottest player that obviously this year, and she's been pretty hot for the last 5 years, Carolyn Dorin Ballard.
Carolyn choosing to have Dede start the match, which means that she'll finish the match. Dede making a great shot to start off the match, put a little bit of pressure on Carolyn, but Carolyn's used to pressure. You don't make 6 out of 7 shows because you don't understand what pressure is, Jan.
Exactly. In fact, Carolyn is so used to pressure that her problem for a long time was putting too much pressure on herself.
And being here in the hometown crowd, that was a concern of hers coming into this week. Come on.
And she opens up with a big one. And what a swing she is having. Look at those finish positions, Marianne. 2 wins in the first 4 weeks.
Both of those wins, Jan, she led the tournament. So this could be something going on today. She's leading coming into today. 3 for 3 would be sweet.
We've also had the tournament leader win 5 out of the 6 weeks.
Yes, we have. That is a fact that doesn't happen very often.
223 average on this sport condition.
Absolutely amazing, Jan.
Much higher. The second place bowler with 219 and third with 213. So wide range of averages there.
Made a pretty good shot, got it in a little bit, asking it to lay off, but that's a very good 4-pin right there.
Carolyn obviously mic'd, so we'll be hearing her thoughts throughout this match. Carolyn on top for the year in averages with a 213 and PWBA. Cara Honeychurch second with 212, and those compiled by the Ebonite Tournament Coordinator. They are our official tournament software. Carolyn covers up that spare.
Carolyn changing to a plastic ball, converting the 4-pin very easy. Dede defeated Carolyn in match play earlier, 241 to 202.
Took a little time with that shot. Well worth it. And after a year absence, the PWBA heads back to the Volunteer State for the championship round finals of the Greater Memphis Open. Last time in Tennessee, Lisa Wagner won her 31st title, won number 32 later in the year. Can she add another? Find out next Monday night at 9 p.m. That's 9 p.m. Eastern. Make sure you're with us on ESPN2. Dede Davidson in the lead by 20 pins. Started with the first 2 strikes. That means she could still get $50,000 from Travelodge. A bonus if she shoots 300.
That would be a very big bonus, Jan. Got a little fast. 3-7.
Good point.
You see she was a little off balance at the line, which contributed to her getting a little fast. Her push away got fast. The 3-pin is actually a good result off of that shot.
She'll go after the spare, and I'll take a minute to thank the Fort Worth Women's Bowling Association and also Barbara Johnson, WIBC director. She was here all week, but unfortunately had to leave. Couldn't stay for the show. She was so disappointed.
WIBC has been wonderful with support. They have people every week where we're at, and it's great to see that.
Carolyn drying her hand. I know she told me that sometimes on television, you know, she has a hard time getting that hand dry. It's pretty warm down there under the television lights. Did you get that bowler of the month?
Carolyn going a little bit light, carrying the half bucket. As you can see right here, Carolyn takes a 5-step approach. Her main concern is that first step tends to get too long. You see her push aways in time, her backswing's there, and look at that strong leverage position. She uses her left arm to her advantage, and she extends the shot very effectively.
Pretty sweet result.
Absolutely.
Steps up now in the 4th frame. As we are assuming the strike actually leads, Carolyn Dorin Ballard was voted the Bowling Writers Association of America Bowler of the Month for the month of May with those 2 victories. She beat out PBA senior Bob Glass for that award and honor.
Carolyn had a little bit of trouble on this left lane. She got it in a little bit deeper than she really wanted to. There's no hold on that lane. We saw earlier in the matches on the right side that there was not a whole lot of hold. She needs to get the ball projected a little bit further right. Once again, changing to her plastic ball for her 610 conversion. And Carolyn does not miss many spares, Jan.
No, she doesn't. And I know I want to take a minute to extend Carolyn's get well wishes to Del Ballard Sr.
Yes, he's very ill, and all of our wishes from the whole PWBA is with him right now.
Dede Davidson stepping up in the 4th frame in the lead by 19 pins. Lead changes very quickly here because of the fact that we're assuming strikes.
Dede making once again an aggressive shot. I wonder if being sick has really helped her tonight. Stay maintained, keep poised. You could tell that she's in her own little zone right now. She's being nice and relaxed, and her arm swing seems very fluid.
Not getting frustrated at all. And she talked about missing that flight. She actually passed out.
She passed out Friday night.
She did.
And caught the very last flight with 1 seat left. It was Father's Day weekend. Much better shot. And the result, 10 in the pit.
Well, we'll break for just a moment, but stay with us to find out who walks away champion. Dede Davidson has the lead. Because Carolyn Dorin Ballard did not continue to strike, so Dede Davidson back in the lead by 6 pins.
Carolyn's really in a zone. She's been in a zone all year. Very intense shot that should have been 10 in the pit.
That was a great shot.
She put it where she wanted to. Her ball speed was what she wanted it to. Unfortunately, the 6 pin went right around the 10 pin. You could see it wobbling a little bit there, Jan.
Well, you talked about, Marianne, how Carolyn gets tougher mentally throughout the week, and I just wanted to make note in match play, the way her average continued to go up. 224 the first round, 234 the second round, and average 240 the final round of match play.
And let me tell you, Jan, averaging 220 on the sport condition speaks for herself, let alone averaging 240 on the sport condition. That just shows you why she's made as many shows as she has.
Dede Davidson now in the lead by 17 pins. She steps up in the 8th. She's working on a spare. Now that lead assumes that she will strike in the 8th, 9th, and 10th. 279 high game, 142 low game. A lot of low games out here on certain pairs. Oh,
Dede making a tremendous shot and just getting a total bad break by leaving a 10 pin. Perfect ball speed, perfect projection, and as you notice, the 6 pin gets tangled up with another pin and just goes around the 10 pin. Very odd for a left-handed bowler.
It was really strange, a very strange carry, or lack of carry there.
What she needed to do was make the spare and put the pressure back on Carolyn.
Oh.
A little bit nervous on that spare conversion.
I don't know. She said, what's the big deal?
A little bit right of the pin. If the lane was a little bit longer, I don't know if she would have made it. But the result is spare.
Letting out a deep breath, she leads now by 6 pins. Big shot here. She must strike here. Otherwise, Carolyn Dorin Ballard will have the opportunity to shut her out.
Jan, this is a huge shot. Carolyn is tough. We talked about her mental toughness. You're not ranked #1 because you're not tough at the end of a game.
She gets them to dance, and they're all down on the dance floor.
They dance pretty hard, Jan. That just goes to show you, bowling's tricky. She puts one in the pocket on lane 28 and leaves the 10 pin, hits one light on lane 27, and carries all 10.
Well, Carolyn Dorin Ballard has some huge shots coming up. The best she can shoot here is 228. She can force Dede Davidson to double. Dede Davidson can still shoot 234.
Taking a little bit of time, which you need to do in a pressure situation like this. She got him to dance as well, Jan. She answered the call.
She sure did.
You can tell that she got the ball projected right where she wanted. Her ball speed was perfect. She got rotation on the ball, and you got 10 in the pit.
Do you like it, Carolyn? Tell us.
She's letting us know.
She sure is.
And you know what, Jan? She has every right to let us know.
4-time runner-up to PWBA, Player of the Year, 4 consecutive times, and that's part of the motivation in every shot she makes.
Absolutely. She trained differently coming into the 2001 season, which made her fresh. Great shot on lane 27. That's the lane that's been giving her a little bit difficulty. She moved deeper on that lane. She got the ball further right. She played the push down the lane, and she got the pins to dance, as you would say. They danced around.
She calls for one more. She's giving me goosebumps with that intensity. Dede Davidson looking down, and nothing she can do but be ready to double.
You know, it's such a helpless situation to be in when you're sitting in that chair. The only thing you can think about is what you need to do.
And Carolyn cannot, remember, cannot close out Dede Davidson. Dede will have an opportunity.
Once again, a terrific shot. She did a big jump left off of her previous shots. That's a big, big move to make, but in a pressure situation, Carolyn will make those moves and they're usually successful, like you just seen in the 10th.
Well, she had to make it. She had to strike. Threw one, didn't carry on the second one, but she has forced Dede Davidson to throw that first strike in the 10th frame.
Carolyn ended with a 217. Terrific game. We know what Dede needs to do here.
Must strike.
You know, Jan, this is a very tough situation to be in. And right now, I would like to be her, but I'm glad I'm sitting next to you right now.
Carolyn is looking down, but yes, Carolyn, you did win, and it's your third title of 2001. Stay with us for more. The championship round finals of the Fort Worth Classic are being brought to you by the Women's International Bowling Congress, striving for 86 years to identify and fulfill the needs of women bowlers. By Travelodge Hotels, first with families, relax with Travelodge. And by PWBA.com, the official site for news and information about the Professional Women's Bowling Association. Carolyn Dorin Ballard wins the Fort Worth Classic in front of a hometown crowd. Final score 217 to 213. She receives a check from Larry Ross of Schumacher and Company and trophy from Connie Volker of Don Carter City View. Tune in next Monday night at 9 p.m. Eastern for the Greater Memphis Open from Funquest Lanes in Collierville, Tennessee. For Marianne DeRupo, I'm Jan Schmidt. Thanks for watching so long. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For more, log on to ESPN.com.